Hey guys, James here again. And this is going to be What If Luffy Was Immortal, Part 4. Now, we should last left off with the Roger Pirates stopping at the island with Odin, and then Odin just made them a lot of Odin. That's the best way to explain it. But yeah, I did read the manga so I can get this series over with a lot faster. I'm pretty sure this is the last part of where Luffy's on the Roger Pirates, or a pirate of the old era, as Luffy will be inactive for many years as a pirate until Fuchsia Village. So his bounty will be reset once he becomes active again. And regarding his straw hat, he's going to take it from Shanks in Fuchsia Village. He's going to take it from him because he wants the hat back. He's going to take it from Shanks as Luffy has his own, and gonna rip off of Roger's straw hat, but right now he's letting Shanks have it. All right, so the Roger Pirates are sailing around, and Odin just told them about Wano's red poneglyph, and during this, Roger would talk about how they have two of the poneglyphs, but they're missing the other two, and Odin says oh, there's one in Wano. I can go back there and grab it. Roger then says, all right, we have a third poneglyph. I have a good idea where the fourth one is. And the stop would result to them talking for a bit, debating on which one they should go after first. Until Luffy and Odin both look at the log pose that's pointing up. Luffy then says, "Don't tell me." Roger then says, "Yep, we're going up." And they'd find a water spout, and they'd be shot into the air. They get to Sky Island, and they ride around on waivers and everything. They find the Golden City, they find the Golden Bell, everything. Then they end up just going around looking for poneglyphs up until they go around. They read the poneglyph that they have at Sky Island. They drop down, and their ship is damaged. They go to Water 7. Now, when they get to Water 7, they meet Tom and everything. Or this wouldn't be Luffy's first time meeting Tom, but he sees Tom. And Tom then talks about how big Luffy has gotten. As Luffy at this point is probably almost 8 feet tall. Luffy's huge. You guys don't get how big his family is. Dragon's 8 feet tall. We have Garp at 9'6". Luffy at this point is 8 feet tall. So, because I'm gonna say Tom's talking about how big Luffy has gotten since he last saw him, but he didn't age a day. As Luffy tells certain people about his devil fruit and what it actually does, but he doesn't tell them about the full mechanic of it. But Luffy will see Odin talking to Frankie, as Luffy walks up to Frankie as well. Luffy and Frankie start talking for a bit, until Luffy actually asks, can he ride one of the battle Frankies? Frankie would say no until he tries to punch Luffy in the face. But Luffy just takes the punch head on, then headbutts Frankie. Frankie's head starts bleeding as Iceberg and Tom just laughed. As Iceberg then says, you know you're trying to fight one of the strongest pirates to ever exist, right? And then that's when Tom said, yeah, Frankie, messing with Luffy isn't a good idea. It's a very bad one at that. Luffy just laughs, saying this kid has spunk. He'd be a really good pirate. Frankie then says, I'm not becoming a pirate. I'm staying a shipwright. Luffy says it'd be a shipwright for a pirate crew. Frankie then says, wait, they can do that? Luffy just facepalms, saying, kids these days. As everyone just laughs at Luffy, seeing as he basically looks like he's 15, but even though he's tall as hell. So yeah. Now, they get their ship fixed and they sail around. Then they start going to Fishman Island. They go to Fishman Island, and when they're there, Poseidon sees them, no, not Poseidon, Neptune. That was it, Neptune. And Neptune sees them, points a trident at them. Luffy then just says, Use his own burst of conquerors to disrupt the water and fling everyone around. And Roger then says, my conquerors needs to have as much destructive power as yours. Luffy so far is the strongest conquerors user to ever exist. His conquerors, is no joke. Roger and Whitebeard, they have strong conquerors, but Luffy's is enough to cancel them both out. At least suppress their conquerors. But Luffy's disrupting the water, so forcing a lot of the fishmen to be flung around, until Luffy just stops it, saying, "We're not here for a fight, but you greet us with weapons." And Neptune says, "There's a bad prophecy about someone coming here." Luffy says, "What does prophecy involve?" As he starts looking around, using observation hockeys to make sure no one doesn't try to do anything. Neptune describes what he's talking about, as Luffy then says, "Oh, well, can we still come in?" Neptune allows them in as they talk to Charlie, and they talk about Poseidon. Poseidon isn't going to come around for another 10 years, so they accept that. Then they leave after a few, say like 3 days. After 3 days, they leave. They finish setting sail and they get to Zou. They get to Zou, and a lot of the minks are actually really nice to them. And Luffy starts just like messing around with Shanks and Buggy, actually teaching them how to fight and stuff. Because Buggy has no fighting skill whatsoever, just throws knives at people. Luffy just catches each and every knife and throws it back at Buggy at 10 times the speed. So Buggy has to dodge a lot of these knives. So at one point, Luffy just jumps and punches the ground in front of Buggy, and Buggy is almost hit by it. Luffy is just teaching Buggy and Shanks how to fight properly, or at least how to fight people like him. As Luffy's physical strength is no joke. Like a giant would be fearful of Luffy's big brute strength. The best way to compare it is like, if you guys remember like the Gungiri that was the giant. I forgot the giant's name, but he had launched that an attack called Gungiri towards like Mach Weiss, who he's like 10,000 tons. Luffy's like his brute strength is like well on the level of a Gungiri, so he's going to destroy a lot of people. But they still read the poneglyph, and now the final one has to be at Wano. Roger does reveal to Luffy and Odin that he's dying, but they end up finding all the poneglyphs. They find Laugh-Tale, and Roger's crew disbands. Odin goes back to Wano and is greeted by his scabbards as scum. Luffy goes back to Fuchsia Village, goes back to the East Blue. And actually told Roger, not Roger. He told Garp. He called Garp to tell Sengoku and everyone else. He quits being a pirate. His captain turned himself in, or he's on his way to do so, and he's just going back to the East Blue. And Roger makes it known to the whole Marines, not Roger. Garp makes it known to the whole Marines. Roger Pirate's disbanded. Sengoku doesn't believe this, as he actually asks what over. And he tells Sengoku, Kong, and Tsuru, Roger's dying, so they disbanded. And he says, Roger's probably on his way to turn himself in. They actually ask about, where's Rayleigh, where's Luffy? Garpin says, they didn't tell me, my brother didn't tell me any of that. All I know is my brother is heading back home. Or heading back to the east. And they actually, he just says he's exiting the Grand Line. They don't know where from, so actually I have to dispatch Marines everywhere. But Luffy, he knows Garp will probably tell them, so Luffy stays at the lighthouse with Crocus for like a year until it dies down. And she don't stay in like a year, he stays there for like a week or two. Then he gets reports that Roger's going to be executed at Logtown. Luffy ends up climbing over the red line and he climbs the red line. Yeah, so Luffy climbed over a red line, jumped off, and found a nearby ship. He landed on that and took the ship and headed to Logtown. Gets there, and he's watching this thing. He's watching execution with Dragon. As he stands next to Dragon, and Dragon just, who's this guy? Why is he so close to me? Looks closer to see, this is uncle, because like I said before, Dragon is Luffy's uncle. No, not Dragon. Luffy is Dragon's uncle in this one. Garp is Luffy's older brother. But, yeah. Now, he actually walks up behind Shanks and Buggy and just kind of hugs, Shanks and Buggy are next to each other just crying, but Luffy just hugs him from behind as everyone's watching the execution, and Roger's dead. Then, after the execution, Roger knew Luffy was somewhere in the... Not Roger. Garp knew Luffy was somewhere in the crowd, so she went out to find Luffy. Well, first, I'm going to say Garp's actually at Navy headquarters. Garp's at Navy headquarters. But him and Sengoku beat up Shiki, and Roger is dead. So Shiki had no reason to fight the Marines. But Garp says so I should go find Luffy. See if he can bring him in at least, as he's a really big threat either way. So Garp heads off towards the east, as he knows that's where Luffy would be. He sees Crocus at the lighthouse just chilling, watching whales. That's around Whale being Laboon. Actually asks Crocus, he asked Crocus because he knows Crocus was Roger a pirate, where's Luffy? That's when Crocus then says, I can tell you, Garp, he's probably at Logtown or back at home. So Garp will actually set sail again towards Luffy and tell him, he'll tell him what Roger told him. Garp will tell Luffy, Roger has a son. Luffy hears this and says, a son, like he had sex and now that one has a child. Garp says that's the essential of it. That's the basics of it, but Luffy then says, alright, where? I'm pretty sure Ace is actually from the South Blue. Let me check that real quick. Yeah, Ace was born in the South Blue. So Luffy heads up to the South Blue with Roger. Not Roger, with Garp. I don't know why I keep messing those two up. We head to the South Blue with Garp, and they end up they go the Marines that are there. Garp tells them to leave. That's why, and Garp just says, well, if you guys are just killing innocent people for no reason, if you guys are killing innocent pregnant women for no reason, then you guys shouldn't be here, or you shouldn't be Marines. And for admirals telling them that, they'll believe it. Some of them actually do quit because they actually do see value in what Garp is saying, and they haven't found one woman that will match, that even is close to being Roger's woman. So Ace is still born at the same time. This time, Luffy and Garp are there. Well, Luffy's there this time. Garp was already there. So when he's born, when Ace is born, Rouge then says, his name is Goldie Ace. Luffy will smile, saying, sounds like a good name. As Rouge then dies, Luffy cries over Rouge, even though he barely knew her. But still, he ends up taking Ace as his foster son and heads to the East Blue again. So he raises Ace in the East Blue, but we're gonna go to an Ace meets Sabo, or at least a few years in the future. So Luffy lives with the Dodon, like the Dodon family. He lives with them as their chief bandit, as he took over Dodon's rank. Even though he's not really big on being a bandit. So Ace is raised by them basically, and Luffy will teach him how to fight. But one day, Ace is gone for a few days and comes back with a kid named Sabo. Luffy sees Sabo and says, you seem like a noble. Everyone sees this and instantly pulls out their knives. They're like, should we take him hostage? But Luffy and Ace instantly defend Sabo, saying no kidnapping a kid. Luffy actually asks Sabo if he's a noble. If so, why is he here? Sabo reveals, he hates being a noble. He hates it, despises it. Luffy then says, this company really has gone to hell since I left. Or this country has really gone to hell since I left. And as she says, he used to be a really big pirate. They question him because not even the Dodon family knew this. Not even Ace knew it. So he sits just one giant chair in the hideout. And starts telling about his days with Roger and how Ace is Roger's son. Now Ace grabs Luffy by the collar of his shirt, saying, "What the hell? Why didn't you tell me any of this?" Luffy then grabs grabs Ace by his hair and lifts him up, saying, 1, don't grab me like that. 2, I have a right to, I can hide whatever I want from you. This puts Ace down and finishes talking about how Roger was a great person. Ace says, Roger wasn't a great person if he's putting his son through all the hate that if his son is bearing the burden that Roger left. Luffy then says, people assume all pirates are bad, and because Roger was the king of pirates, that's what they're making. I think he's the worst of the worst. Even though he's probably one of the greatest men I've ever met. Ace hears this and is a little inspired and likes Roger a little bit. But Sabo lives with the bandits with Ace and Luffy, and Luffy will train them how to fight, kind of like the same way he did with Shanks and Buggy. And this time, Buggy has he understood hockey a little at a pretty young age. He understood hockey, so Buggy at this point, when he's introduced in the story, or at least reintroduced, he's gonna be pretty strong. But yeah, now Luffy finishes raising them, and they set off at first off. When you actually gonna go to? Let's say that instead of Luffy being captured by Bellamy, it's gonna be Sabo. Ace actually tells us that Luffy's pissed now. So Sabo's captured instead of Luffy in canon. So Luffy actually walks over to a closet, pulls out a giant sword, and so he starts walking towards their hideout. And at one point, Sabo's about to be punched by Spiked Knuckles until the hideout just suddenly collapses and chopped in half. The roof comes flying off. They go outside to see Luffy, and Luffy starts walking towards the rest of the pirates. And they run at him, but Luffy slashes them down. One of them has a broken arm. This Luffy stabs a sword straight through him. Now Luffy will grab Porchemi by just hold him up by his jaw. Luffy then says, "Give me one reason I shouldn't break your damn head open." Porchemi starts freaking out as he doesn't know who Luffy is. Porchemi actually doesn't give a reason, as Luffy puts his arm in hockey, swings it as hard as he can, and kind of just cracks, shatters Porchemi's skull. So Luffy puts down Porchemi and lets Sabo free, as he takes Sabo back to the hideout. Now the Blue Jam Pirates are actually kind of scared to mess with Luffy, or at least mess with Ace and Sabo, knowing Luffy will come after them. And one of the ones that survived said, came in he chopped the hideout in half basically. The Blue Jam knows not to mess with Ace and Sabo. At some point, Luffy will know. Now, Ace and Sabo still meet Nagori by themselves. Luffy doesn't need to go with them. But by the time the Celestial Dragon comes, Sabo still tries to set out to sea on his own, as his parents did come after them, but Luffy protected him. But by the time the Celestial Dragon is about to shoot down Sabo's ship, a loud boom is heard. That was Luffy running after Sabo, as Ace had told him Sabo's trying to set out on his own. This is a few months later. Sabo's setting out sail, and the Celestial Dragon is trying to shoot down Sabo. Suddenly, a loud boom is heard as the bullet is stopped, and there's a tall man holding the bullet in place, or at least the kind of miniature cannon. That's a pretty powerful gun. Celestial Dragon's kind of confused when the ship didn't blow up, but you don't see a lot of smoke. And Luffy did try to catch the bullet, but it blew up. And Sabo's just concerned as he thought he died. But everyone looks to see Luffy's in the way. And Sabo then sees Luffy's arms are basically non-existent. Luffy just smirks as the dragon tries to shoot Luffy again. And Luffy still tries to protect Sabo and takes every shot that he can. And we go to Dragon's perspective. Dragon is watching nearby as he sees Luffy repeatedly being shot by basically a miniature cannonball. And he just sees it. He's horrified. And Luffy he can beat the Celestial Dragon with no hands. He can basically beat him with no body. At one point, Luffy's about to just have his heart and his head blown off, but he sees I can't survive much more of this. It looks like a large bunch of conquerors knocking out the Celestial Dragon and the ship. Sabo then sees how much of Luffy's body is left, and he's kind of just horrified. And Luffy can only get a bounty for beating the Celestial Dragon. He didn't touch him. Luffy bites the back of Sabo's collar and kind of wriggles to hide under the ship, because Luffy was taking every shot. The ship isn't damaged. Luffy was taking every shot. When Bandit sees that Sabo's alive, so is Luffy. He jumps in the water, swims towards the ship, and he grabs Luffy. And he's kind of just horrified at what they did with Luffy. Sabo swims back on his own. Sabo has a slight burn mark on his face. We get to the hideout with the Bandit screaming that Luffy's dying. Ace knows this isn't true, but he is still concerned on why Luffy's body looks like. Basically, he's concerned on why Luffy looks like that. So they put Luffy in his own room, and he heals for the next few weeks. After around 3 weeks, he comes out of his room fully healed. everybody's kind of impressed that Luffy's body is just healed. Now it's not fully healed, like his skin needs to grow back. That's like the whole basis. His skin needs to grow back, but his legs, lower half of his body is fine, and a good portion of his cheek was gone. So right there's just all muscle and meat and everything. His skin needs to grow back. But around 2 days, his skin grows back, and yeah, he's okay after that. So, I'm gonna fast forward a few years to when Ace and Sabo are 17. So, wait. Damn. Huh. So I messed up some of the timeline. I'm gonna say that Shanks comes by earlier. Not earlier, later. So Shanks comes by. He comes by like the day after Sabo and Ace leave. Because the day after Sabo and Ace leave, Shanks will come by. He doesn't have the gum fruit with him. I don't say he does. Screw it. Shanks has a gum fruit with him, and he comes by when Ace and Sabo are 17. When he comes by, Higiri tries to start trouble with him, but then all of a sudden a gun is pointed back at Higiri. Yeah. Let's use him real quick. Higuma, not Higiri. Higuma. Higuma's trying to start stuff with Shanks until a gun pointed to the back of his head. Higuma turns around and becomes nervous, as all of his men are knocked out. Luffy sees and says, boss, I'm sorry that... And then a loud gunshot is heard as Higuma is killed. Luffy just chuckles, saying, Shanks, you always cause trouble wherever you go, don't you? Shanks will just be in shock that Luffy's there. And says, Captain. Well, he's not, like... Well, Luffy's the strongest pirate. He's the strongest pirate besides Roger and Rocks and Whitebeard. So, Shanks did see him as captain, so he actually calls him captain. And after hearing, Shanks call someone captain, the whole barge went silent. They know who Shanks is. So, Luffy just talks to Shanks for a bit until Luffy takes the straw off Shanks and puts it on himself. It's his rip-off straw he threw away. He takes the one off Shanks' head and puts it on his own. He then says, Shanks, how about this? I'll set sail again because my bounty's been reset, but give me some time. I need to get back in the world of fighting. As Luffy is kind of rusty in fighting skills. You can still use hockey and everything, but he needs to brush up on fighting. So Shanks just laughs as he looks at his hat on Luffy, and it feels more natural to be on Luffy. With the bandits, they're gone, and the King of the Coast fears Shanks and Luffy. But can't really say anything else about that. So Shanks and his crew leaves, and a few years will pass. Luffy is now just set. Biologically, he still looks 17, but in reality, he's like. I say, I'm pretty sure physically he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be 70. He's supposed to be in the 70s, but right now he looks like he's still 17. So I'm saying he sets off when he's he's supposed to be, or until he's supposedly 16, like a year before canon. Sets off a year before that. So he sets off, and he had been training like that whole year. The bandits say goodbye to Luffy, as they're kind of proud to be his subordinates. But now the Dobbin family again, instead of being the monkey family. Luffy has his own ship. He had the bandits help him build it. So he's at sail, and he ends up he wants to go to a certain island because he wants to he wants to discover all of the East Blue. The first island he heads to is the one where Zoro's from. And so he gets there and starts walking around. Everyone had reports that there's a pirate there. They don't know if he's dangerous or not, but he does seem strong. So Zoro's master comes down with a sword and asks Luffy to leave, but Luffy will decline. Now, Kuina's already dead, so yeah. But Zoro's master tries to slash down Luffy, but Luffy just stops the blade with one finger. And Luffy does not have invisible haki. That was a little too hard for him to learn, so he sticks with Ryuo. So Zoro's master tries to cut down Luffy, but Luffy just blocks every strike with one finger. Zoro comes out of nowhere with the three-sword style yelling Onigiri. Until Luffy just like smacks Zoro away, saying, I'm not here for a fight, I'm just here to explore. But the kid right there seems pretty strong. Zoro then says, yeah, you're damn right I'm strong. As Luffy trying to slash him again. Luffy's dodging every strike pretty easily until a large punch is delivered to Zoro's face, knocking him out. The Masters then punched in the gut, knocking him out. So when they wake up, they talk. Luffy just has them have a reasonable conversation with him, and Zoro actually agrees to come. So, like Johnny and I believe his name is like Yasu. They don't really meet. They don't know Zoro. So Zoro's on Luffy's crew on Luffy's request, and he actually agrees to this because of how strong Luffy is. On the next island, he heads to Usopp village because he talked to the Shanks crew and knows that Usopp has a kid there. So he heads towards Usopp village, and he gets there. When he gets there, they're like Usopp tries to like just meet him with like a slingshot. Luffy says, "Go ahead, fire at me." Usopp's gonna shock someone asks him to, and when he does so, Luffy catches like the Firebird star or the Fire Star, throws it back at Usopp at 10 times the speed of the slingshot. Usopp barely dodges it as his cheek gets scraped, and the forest just sparks with fire. Luffy just laughs as suddenly a large burst of red is emitted from Luffy's head, or from his eye seemingly, as the flames go out. Now, everyone's just confused, except like Zoro, because Luffy told him about conquerors. But I'm gonna leave it here, like Luffy just scaring the hell out of Usopp. So this is sloppy, but kind of made it in a rush. You have to make other what ifs. Hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, comment if you didn't, comment if you did. Bye.